Well, it's officially the first day of spring, and I love this time of year. Even though the blooms aren't completely out yet, there's a little show going on and all of the buds are starting to swell. This is my Exbury Calstocker, and it is a cross between a species and a hybrid rhododendron. It has some of the biggest buds of any of the rhododendrons I have. It's supposed to turn into a tree-like rhododendron eventually, and this thing, when it blooms, the buds just swell huge and the blooms are gigantic. I'm really looking forward to showing this one to you guys. But you can see there's some enormous buds on this guy, and it blooms a little earlier. Most of the species do, and so it's got some traits of the parent in there, and it usually blooms pretty early. But I'll take a clip of that when it's blooming here, probably within the next few weeks to month. This is one of my species here that's still in the hoop house. I haven't got it planted out on the landscape yet, but I'm just really falling in love with these species more and more every year. I'll probably make another run to the Rhododendron Species Foundation up in Federal Way, Washington. But as these guys get bigger, I need to get them out on the landscape. They're in 7-gallon pots right now, as you can see, but these guys are getting really big and they're probably going to get root bound soon if I don't get them planted out. This is probably, I think this is going to turn out to be leaf bud. Every year they kind of shock me. They're so big, these species, these big leaf species, the buds are just gigantic. And as they start opening, I think that's got to be a flower bud, but we'll see. I'll come back out and take pictures of this as it starts opening up. But last year I thought there were going to be some flower buds, and they ended up being some leaf buds. So they have such gigantic buds because they've got to produce such huge growth. We'll see how that turns out as the spring goes on. Now this Roxyanum species rhodie looks like it's got some flower buds on it, and I believe those guys are going to bloom this year. So it's a smaller rhodie. The big leaf ones tend to not bloom for quite a while. It can take sometimes 7-10 years for some of them to bloom. Well, I think that about does it for now, guys. Spring is definitely coming though, and I'm really excited to share it with you.